10. Moheg Bukhari. UK-based TikToker Moheg Bukhari, known to her followers only as Maya, is a wannabe celebrity who hatched a sick plot with a group of friends to murder her mother's ex-lover in 2022. It was all part of a plan to keep an affair that her mum had been having a secret. 23-year-old Moheg, with her 45-year-old mum and 6 others, have been charged in connection to the case. All 8 people are going to be put on trial for the murders of Mohammed Hashim Ijazuddin and Saqib Hussain, both of whom were 21 when they were ambushed in February of 2022 on a highway in the United Kingdom. They were driving near Leicester when their car crashed into a tree just after midnight. Moments before they crashed, Saqib phoned the police because there was a vehicle ramming into the back of them. The vehicle following them was filled with people hiding their faces under balaclavas. Prosecutors believe this was a deliberate murder. Wannabe celebrity Moheg Bukhari, who had roughly 126,000 followers at TikTok at the time, lured the men with the help of her mum to a parking lot before the attack. They then followed the men, rammed them off the road, and caused their car to hit a tree so hard it nearly split in half. During the police investigation, detectives learned that Saqib had been secretly dating Moheg's mother for the last 3 years, a woman over twice his age. They were having an affair even though the social media star's mum was married with children. When he threatened to come clean with what they were doing, the murder plot was hatched. 9. Jenny Alhassan. In April of 2022, Australian TikToker Jenny Alhassan was sprayed in the face with acid while live streaming outside the Old Town Hong Kong restaurant in Sydney. The 32-year-old streamer was live on social media when 3 men in masks leaped out of a black car and threw acid on her. She suffered major burns to her right eye, her forehead, and her neck. Jenny was transported to Royal North Shore Hospital by paramedics shortly after the assault. Her attackers have never been tracked down or identified, and yet Jenny believes she may know who's responsible. When she was in the middle of her live stream, a mysterious account began to ask her suspicious questions. Somebody kept inquiring about where she was, and they asked why she had sunglasses on at 11 o'clock at night. Jenny believes this mysterious person asking questions was the one who tracked her down on purpose to try and burn her face off. Even though the incident was traumatizing and scary, Jenny still believes she got off lucky. She says her daughter wasn't with her at the time, which was extremely fortunate. She was also wearing sunglasses for some strange reason in the middle of the night, which may have protected her from having her eyeballs burned out of their sockets by the acid. Jenny is a vague social media star who isn't really known outside of Australia. She used to be an in-law to one of the most notorious underworld figures in Sydney, convicted drug smuggler Stephen Elmer. Stephen was once married to Jenny's sister and was considered one of the most dangerous criminals in the country. He's now serving 24 years for drug smuggling, and he may have had something to do with the attack. 8. Nilsa Proact. In July of 2019, Nilsa Proact, the star of Floribama Shore, was arrested in Florida for flashing strangers and smashing a car window. The 25-year-old woman was dragged away by police in a white mini dress and matching sneakers after a night out got a little too graphic. She was partying in St. Petersburg and was on a balcony flashing people on the street below. She was causing such a scene that officers asked her politely to leave, but she refused. That was when she kicked the rear driver's side window of her friend's car until it shattered. At this point, police had no choice but to take her down to the station. She was arrested and booked on disorderly conduct and exposure of sexual organs. If you haven't heard of Nilsa Proact, whose real name is Nilsa Anderson, she was a regular on MTV. They did a spin-off of the Jersey Shore show called Floribama Shore, and Nilsa was one of the wannabe celebrities starring in it. At the time of her arrest, the reality show was in the middle of filming its 3rd season. Nilsa made bail at $400 and walked out of the station at about 6:30 a.m. the next day. 7. A$AP Rocky. Rocky Myers, better known as rapper A$AP Rocky, has been arrested in more countries than most people travel to in their lifetime. He's been apprehended in Europe and the United States, recently put in handcuffs at the Los Angeles airport just before police raided his home. However, his most recent arrest came in April of 2022. When the rapper landed at LAX from his vacation in Barbados, which he'd enjoyed with his much more famous celebrity girlfriend Rihanna, he was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon. It had to do with a shooting that occurred in November of 2021 that left one man seriously injured. The unidentified man had allegedly gotten into an argument with Rocky in the Hollywood area. Things escalated and the argument quickly turned violent. The rapper then allegedly shot the man with his handgun before fleeing the scene. Following his arrest at LAX, Rocky spent only a couple of hours in jail before being released on a bail of $550,000. Months later, in August, he was formally charged with 2 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm. Yet, despite being charged with the crimes, the wealthy semi-celebrity has not seen any significant repercussions for shooting off a gun in public and almost killing someone. In 2019, Rocky was arrested in Sweden and was found guilty of assault. Apparently, he and 2 members of his security team beat up a man in the streets of Stockholm. They punched and kicked the victim before stabbing him. They reportedly cut him so badly he was left bleeding with multiple lacerations as well as a fractured rib. Again, Rocky escaped any serious repercussions regarding the crime in Stockholm because the Swedish government allowed him and his security guards to return home. He only had to pay $1,300 to the victim as compensation. What's even more strange is that during the brief time Rocky was in a Swedish jail, former President Donald Trump was all about getting him back to the US. He even tweeted #FreeRocky to his followers and threatened to impose economic sanctions against the whole country of Sweden if they didn't let the rapper go free. 6. Modboy. Ethan Bramble, known as Modboy, has tattoos covering about 98% of his body. They basically cover his entire face, and he even has them on his eyeballs. He was labelled a fugitive in 2019 after Victorian police in Australia announced a warrant for his arrest. Ethan was so bold that he commented on his arrest warrant, saying he'd never seen the man before in his life. He then taunted the police further in a live broadcast on Instagram, saying that there was no way he would turn himself in. The warrant had something to do with an assault, but the details are a little foggy. What we do know is that Ethan Bramble, aka Modboy, is one of the strangest wannabe celebrities in Australia. He began practicing body modification at the young age of 11. He stretched his ears and then became fascinated with tattoos. He has since spent over 60,000 Australian dollars, $37,740 modifying his body. He had his tongue split, his nostrils punched, he completely removed his belly button and snipped half his ears off. It doesn't look like Ethan Bramble ever got into serious trouble because of the arrest warrant. After he mocked the police, news outlets didn't care about the story and we never got any more details on it. However, in 2022, Ethan made headlines again for changing his attitude. Ethan recently became a father and decided to get laser surgery on his face to try and remove some of his tattoos. He admitted that all of his body modification may have been foolish and is now hoping to make a new life for himself. 8. Coreyanka Kilcher. Coreyanka Kilcher, an actress who appeared in the Yellowstone TV series for 4 episodes, was charged in California in 2022 for collecting disability payments illegally while she filmed the series. According to the California Department of Insurance, the 32-year-old woman was also charged with 2 felony counts of workers' compensation insurance fraud. The actress reported that she injured her neck and shoulder while she filmed the 2018 movie Dora and the Lost City of Gold. She also allegedly told doctors that she was too injured to take on any additional work. She claimed that she had to turn down new roles because of her injuries. However, Kilcher continued to collect her disability payments even while she did take on new acting jobs. She appeared in a highly successful TV series, even as she told doctors she was too injured to do so. She cashed out multiple paychecks from starring in movies and television shows, and she was milking disability payments at the same time. Surprisingly, an actor does not get the same kind of disability as most people. Between October of 2019 and September of 2021, she earned almost $100,000 in disability benefits. And while it's highly doubtful the actress will see any jail time, she could face criminal charges and she may be forced to give that money back. 4. Wannabe Weatherman. An aspiring meteorologist from Kentucky, someone described as a wannabe weatherman, was arrested in 2016 for trying to get attention. His name is Johnny Mullins, and he was arrested for starting fires so that he could get more engagement in his Facebook videos. He was charged with second-degree arson for the crime. Johnny just about started a forest fire, and it was all to get more likes on social media. The man had been posting weather videos on his Facebook page for years. He was trying to hone his meteorologist skills by chasing weather stories and reporting on them. It was all innocent enough until he started faking the weather to get more popular. He began the fire in eastern Kentucky, then filmed himself reporting it as if he were the first person on the scene. He claimed the whole area was going up in smoke and that there were helicopters dropping water throughout the region. He told his followers it was a very dangerous situation, but in reality, all he'd done was start a fire in the forest so he could film it. Police Chief James Stevens told the Associated Press that Johnny was a good boy, but he enjoyed the attention he got from his Facebook videos a little too much. In the end, the desire for fame pushed the wannabe weatherman to become an arsonist. 3. Laura Summers. Laura Summers is a wannabe celebrity who has an addiction to cosmetic surgery. News articles have called her the vainest woman in Britain. In 2011, 26-year-old Laura had already spent roughly $30,000 on cosmetic surgery. She had everything done, from chest augmentation to nose jobs. She received regular face fillers, Botox and collagen injections, and even had her ears pinned back twice. In 2019, the 34-year-old had spent a whopping $500,000 or more on surgery. Her ultimate goal is supposedly to look like Kim Kardashian. Laura has got multiple facelifts, at least 8 surgeries done to her chest, and she has no plans on stopping anytime soon. She's had at least 50 operations in her lifetime and says she's always dreamed of being a Victoria's Secret model. However, after all these years and all the money she spent on surgeries, that dream still hasn't come true. Laura's only claim to fame is her addiction to surgery and her brief time on X on the beach. 2. Lars. A California-based desperate wannabe social media influencer with roughly 400,000 Instagram followers refuses to speak with his family. Lars, as he's known, recently appeared on the Australian radio show Kyle and Jackie O. Apparently, Lars told them that he no longer talks to his family because they aren't famous enough for him. He claims that he's more famous than everyone he's related to, and that he can't talk to anyone unless they have the same number of followers on social media as he does. When asked if he misses his family, the wannabe star responded that his famous friends are better company. He said that sometimes he misses his relatives, but then he'll talk to someone important like Cardi B instead, and that makes him feel better. He even told the talk show host that he blocked all 9 of his siblings on social media and will only talk to them if they get more followers. If you aren't sure who Lars is, you're not the only one. He reached the peak of fame in 2020 after he licked a toilet bowl on TikTok. He was then admitted to the hospital with COVID-19 after the incident. He was also one of the individuals behind a fad during the pandemic that saw young people licking ice cream tubs at the grocery store. 1. Vitube. A Brazilian influencer who goes by the name Vitube was recently wheeled through a Portuguese airport in 2022 because she had apparently held in her farts for too long. The influencer's real name is Vitória de Felice Moraes, and she was 21 years old when she visited the Rock in Rio Lisboa music festival in Portugal with her boyfriend. It was during the festival that she started to experience significant pain in her abdomen. The pain coincided with holding in her farts for an extended period of time. Moraes was too embarrassed to pass gas in front of her boyfriend, so she held it in until it hurt. She was so uncomfortable that she had to be pushed through the airport in a wheelchair. In the end, all she needed to do was fart. The influencer, who's famous for bikini photos and luxury travel shoots, was completely fine in the end, but it could have been a lot worse. Doctors say holding in your farts is extremely unhealthy. The gas can be absorbed into the bloodstream if held for too long, and then they can be exhaled out of a person's mouth. She may have been holding in her farts, but she was running the risk of farting out of her mouth. Would you rather be famous for your good looks or your talent? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye.